Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 666 episode 666 of GeekVerse podcast. I'm your host, Black Phillip Trust now, and I'm joined by.
Does there have to be a Y? Kirkland Patzer.
I am the number of the beast, Dilmas.
I'm the mystery movie, Taylor Field.
Okay. I guess, yeah. I understand. We had a health thing going on, but you had to go your own route with that. That's fine. I understand. So, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are at 666. What a fun number to be at, because next time we do this, we won't be at this till 1,666. So it's probably gonna be a little while. We'll be a little
999. That's like the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we can flip it. Do that. I was gonna say, because at that point. Let's see. It took us about 10 years to hit 66, so that means on our 20th, somewhere around there, 20th anniversary, we'll be hitting the
Book
the
it.
1,000.
Put it on the
No,
calendar.
I guess even more so, because that's 1,000. So it's like 23rd year. Man, we're getting old. But speaking of getting old, August 9th, GV Day, the 10-year, the 10-hour stream starting at 10 a.m. PST. We got lots of fun stuff going on there. We should put up a post, Taylor, and find out who's going to be joining us for trivia, the patrons. We should get that. I'll figure out which time we're doing that. But lots of good stuff too. Obviously, it's our annual GV Day, but this year we are celebrating. Yes, we've been around for a decade, so we're doing that. We're doing Golden Geeks this year, covering 1994. We'll be doing some quizzing of each other, some couples quiz. There'll be a bunch of videos. There'll be some announcements. There'll be some surprises. There'll be a bunch of guests kind of sprinkled throughout GeekVerse history, whether it's people that are in the show or just other people that have been around. Tons of good stuff. There's a post on Facebook and Twitter that is posted. You go read it all, but yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We're going for 10 hours. Oh, a little Geek Verses, of course. That's always fun. A little longer if you want to up your tier or join Patreon that day. We'll talk more about that. Probably once we get a little closer than that 2-week marks, we'll make some time increments. But if you want to support us and what we're doing for the rest of the year and next year, we'd appreciate that. But just tune in. It's gonna be a very fun day. Just like the next month and a half is gonna be very fun. It's officially started last week we started with bringing back Netflix and Fail. My God, I need a drink of water. We brought back Netflix and Fail. We watched Extinction, one of the worst reviewed original sci-fi horror movies on Netflix. Do we think it deserves that? Do we think it was rocking a low 30%? Do we think it deserves a fail? I don't know. Watch and find out. And then from now on, I think I've looked at the calendar every week from last week till our 10-year. There is at least one, sometimes two episodes covering that is for the 10-year. This week is our first of the retrospective series. It's My Film of Shame. That'll be dropping in a couple days, so look out for that. Obviously, patrons, we'll talk about you later. You get it nice and early. Next week, Geeks Creed is going to be coming back, so that'll be fun. Yeah, and then the weeks after that, we'll get Dylan, Kirkland, and Taylor's retro. We're going to get Dynamic Duo. We're going to get Hunka Hunka. We're going to get Cantina Conversation. So like I said, it's now until August 9th. It's just a full-on celebration. We're getting our top 10 soon. There's tons of stuff. We're just overflowing. There's juice everywhere. There's gasoline in a lot of places. One place there's not gasoline, you might be wondering, because I'm sure you looked at the feed like, this is odd. Ironheart. We don't know what we're doing with that yet. So our original plan was, because at first it was 3 episodes and then they're going to do weekly. And our plan was, because next week when it drops is Canada Day off for us, and lots of people are busy, just hard, to do a review. And we have just lots of other stuff. Like next week's also Jurassic World. Our original plan was the 3 and then 3 weekly. We're going to review the batch, be off a week, and then get back in the swing of things. We're not going to do that because next week we won't be available on Canada Day, and then the day after is Jurassic World, and then we have it tentative planned for the end of the week, but we'll see how it goes because we're all busy. And honestly, if we all kind of watch and just feel maybe we'll just shout out on what we've been watching. We'll see. We'll coalesce. So that's TBD. I'll just shout out. We have a podcast network that has 7 shows. They got shows almost every. There's a couple that are bi-weekly, but same thing, Monday to Friday. Marvel Alliance with Chris and David. They'll be covering it both weeks because luckily they got 4th of July. So this Friday, look out for that breakdown for the first 3 and then the next 3. So I'm sure at some point the Marvel Golden Geeks, we will talk about it, but it's just like in the scheme of things, it's dropping at a very inconvenient time for us in Canada and then just us at GeekVerse. And it's honestly, I don't know how many. I have not seen anyone in the Discord asking us about, oh, you guys, it's out tonight. I haven't seen a peep of everyone talking about they're watching it, anything like that. So
Low juice levels on that one.
Things. Yes, we are needing some juice, and hopefully we'll get that. Oh God, is that the last MCU thing this year? Oh,
Is it-
no, it's
no,
Fantastic
F4.
Four. That's not a good sign either, but we'll be reviewing that.
And what about Wonder Man? He's popping out this year, isn't he?
That is no juice. That's DOA as well. Too. I love Yaya, but
But it's
come
coming
on.
out,
It's
isn't
coming
it?
out for sure, yeah. But
Okay.
does it have juice?
Well,
We'll talk about that. But Fantastic Four, we got lots of stuff talking about that. But we'll talk about that later when we talk about Patreon. Today, we're talking about Punisher being pretty much officially. It's S tier scooper. Pretty much confirmed that he's going to be in Spider-Man. We're talking about some Bond directors. We got just one draft up. Sorry, Taylor, I didn't do the rest of them because we got lots of Patreon questions, which are some fun, kind of more long-winded ones. So, but one in particular. So, yeah, going to be a smaller one because after this, like I said, we're recording Shame. So look out for that. And, yeah. How's everyone doing tonight? I know I ramble a lot, but before we get into, we're not doing what we've been watching, but how's just everyone doing in general? How's the Tuesday vibe going right now?
it's a 666 vibe today, so I'm doing great. The disciple of the devil, feeling good. Feeling hyped.
What are you doing down there in the Vancouver lands? Some
You
satanic
burning?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, burn some Bibles, burn some barns. I don't know.
Wow. We do not support Dill Muss's comments here at GeekVerse, You're right there, Kirkland. You look like you're about to keel over any second.
I think it's the red light. I don't think I've ever had it on like this long, or it's been a while. I might have to switch it halfway through. I feel like it's fucking with my eyeballs. But yeah,
You have a heater on in there too.
it feels warm. I think it's like the red light is just entering my skin. Like you don't feel as hot as you would be. It's like a red light sauna, how that works. But
22
I don't know, I'm
degrees,
doing-
and he's
doing
got
all
a
right.
heater just for the video effect. Yeah.
what about you, Taylor?
Oh, just living life and, just staying cool. Thunders and lightnings going on outside. And
Are you getting some right now? It was teasing over here on this side of the water.
it was teasing earlier at roughly
Teasing.
3:45 to 3:50, I'd say.
yeah, it was.
It came down hard, and then it meandered off. So
We got a
Sun-
couple of
little hit and
thunderclaps,
run.
though.
thunderclaps, yeah, a little
There's
bit of
a couple.
thunderclaps, yeah. But not as long as it was on Friday when they shut my operations down, because that was, I mean, holy fuck, end of days, end of times.
What are you
God
talking about?
coming
They
down.
shut it down because of the thunder?
No, his power went out. Maybe you should be more specific.
They told me to the lights flashed, so they told me to shut my machines down because the power was.
Are you working at a nuclear facility? Yeah.
It's the flash of light up.
Taylor sounds like he's trying to do a ceasefire or something over there. Shut it down! No! Kill the power!
Took to social media.
Yeah, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a fun episode here today. And then the rest of the week, Dylan and Kirkland just did side quests yesterday, so you can check out that on the feed. And you can do a double. We have the Death Stranding review classic of Dylan 6 years ago. When I told Emily that, when I boot up Death
Insane.
Stranding, I'm like, oh, 2019. She's like, no, it's not been that long. I'm like, oh, yeah. But then next week, me and Dylan will be covering Death Stranding 2. Very excited to talk about that. I think it's going to be a juicy review. And then this week, like I said, we have Shame. We got a weekly geek with with Taylor and Dylan. Already some other news there, and there'll be more because the days go by. And then the gimmick at some point this weekend, once WWE decides if they're having a show in Saudi Arabia or not, which is always a fun time. But lots of good stuff, just like this episode right now. So let's jump in the time machine a little bit. This is why 2 time machines actually. One, this happened like a long time ago, like 4 years ago, but I always bring it up because I'm not trying to take shots at the person in case they're still a listener. I don't mean this in a like filled way. I just meant when we did our our yearly surveys about what they like and don't like. And I remember someone being like, I don't like you guys covering like some of those smaller rumors. The rumors don't come from the big sources. And I know we talked about why we do it, but this is why we do it. Because then to jump in the second time machine with Dylan and Kirkland, back all the way in January 17, I shot them a C-tier rumor of Hulk and Punisher, which at that time was a rejected script. So I don't know if that was a lie or they rejected the script and then they went other days ideas and like, actually, let's just go back to that one. But we're going to talk about it again because it's looking, honestly, Mark Ruffalo's only been confirmed by like C+ tiered people, but it's been a lot of people that it's like, hey, this is happening. And I think even the bigger trades are like, yeah, it's pretty much a done deal. And then Berthnall, he again, obviously that was a C tier back in January, but now this is everywhere. The Hollywood reporters, the deadlines, etc. So Taylor, I'm gonna throw you first because you and I weren't on that cast, so I'll save these veterans for last and see if their thoughts have changed and whatnot. Because at that point, this script was supposedly something happens with Hulk, he snaps, he goes angry, and maybe the idea was Peter wants to save him, kind of I don't know, a little redundant of No Way Home. Let's not kill this guy. Let's try to find a way to make him normal. But Frank Castle, he's just down to like maybe the Hulk accidentally kicks Karen, and he's just down to like kick his green little ass. So, how do you feel about Bernthal going to the movies? And I don't think this is going to be a role like Charlie Cox in New Way Home where it's an appearance, because that was kept secret till like a few days before the movie. I think this is going to be a full-on supporting role. So what do you think about Bernthal being in Spider-Man 4? And then what do you think about just that idea of, Spider-Man versus Hulk versus Punisher in a sense? And I do have a Patreon question after that I will throw to you guys once we cover the opening part. So
The idea of getting Hulk back in this type of capacity excites me. I would love to get that because I feel like he's been very passive lately, and it's just been like human form Bruce Banner. So
6 years, just like Death Stranding, 2019.
6 years. Like as soon as Deadpool and Wolverine had that sneak peek scene of Wolverine versus Hulk, I got giddy. I was like, that I want to see some Hulk like that again. It's been so long. So that is all aces in my opinion. To get Bernthal, going to the movies, going up to the big screen, like I'm going to movies with him. Let's do it.
You want him to do the Tom Cruise, like, hey, thanks for watching Spider-Man in the theater.
I do.
We're your best stuff. The best place to have popcorn. You want the whole
Don't be
thing.
napping though. I don't want to see you napping in there.
Yeah.
I want him to do the same marketing, like stand on top of that building, climb up on top of his limo at the red carpet premiere. I want him to do all the same stuff that
Wait.
Tom Cruise was doing.
Well, I missed when did Tom Cruise stamp on a limo?
He did it for one of the promotional things. You never saw that?
No, is he just
I'll pull it up when you guys goes next because it's just fucking funny.
making movies, fun
It's
adventure,
just what a character.
best.
But yeah, I think
I don't know why. Just the thought of John Bernthal saying everything Tom Cruise is just it would feel like he's the biggest sellout in the world. I don't know. There'd be something off about it. But
I'm just so down for him to be popping up on the big screen because I have been loving him as the Punisher, really, really have. And I heard not so like great things about The Accountant too, but him and Affleck though, those are like the best parts of that movie. I never saw the first Accountant, but I'm gonna probably make some time to watch that and get to that second one because I want to see more Bernthal.
I think it's people were disappointed that it kind of takes a different direction. It sounds like The Accountant 2 is way more comedic, which The Accountant 1 I think is pretty serious. So I think people that were fans of the first one were kind of like, oh, what the hell is this? But I think if you don't mind the shift change, you might enjoy it. I've never seen them either. I saw the last 15 minutes of the movie like 20 times. It always played before AEW Wrestling, and I know the last 15 minutes, but that's all I know. So
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And sorry, the last part was with Peter maybe doing something, trying to like save Bruce or calm the situation.
yeah, like
down.
I don't think he's teaming up with Frank to be like, yeah, let's kill,
Let's
kill
execute
Bruce
him.
Banner. You see this scar? And they're just kicking his father's ass in front of him and Frank.
I think that these are three very different heroes that we haven't seen together on screen. I'm so down to see three characters that you wouldn't really put together because you're gonna get some very cool dynamics, and this just gets me really, really excited to think about and see. So I'm there for it. Sign me up.
Sign you up. Okay, Mr. Muss. In January, I feel like you and Kirkland are both kind of like, maybe iffy on it, but now since we've gone, Frank back in Daredevil, which I think we all loved, where are you on it now in 2025 in the summertime?
Yeah, I think that if we just put Punisher in there and like take the Hulk stuff out, maybe it works a bit better. Maybe that's like grounds for like something a bit better storytelling wise. I'm trying to think, when has this Peter Parker / Spider-Man really been tested on like the idea of like killing people or like removing villains? Because I feel like that's something that we haven't really seen much, just because it's like a bit of a softer side. We haven't really got to that, but I feel like that's something that Frank can pull out of him in a way, and like having those conversations. And I don't know, like maybe that could be like a point of contention between them two, of course. And I think that could be interesting. Obviously, we've already got that between like Punisher and Daredevil, so like I don't want to retread the same ground. But we haven't really got that from this Punisher and another hero like on the big screen, and maybe we can take a different stance on it. I don't know. Maybe you don't have as much time as like Daredevil show or Punisher show to really dive into those topics. I don't know how well it's going to work. But even if it's just like an underlying thing, it could be an interesting way that we push this Peter Parker into different headspaces and I don't know, I guess like ethics that we haven't really seen him have to like deal with before. Am I misremembering? Has there been a moment or a scene or something like that we've really got
Just
to that?
like
I guess
No
like
Way
a
Home,
bit with
right?
Green Goblin a little bit.
Yeah, that would've
It
been the
is No Way
closest.
Home when it's like, let's send them back to die, and he doesn't want to do that. But I think what's interesting, you have two things. One, you have Andrew Garfield's setup of like, hey, we're Spider-Man, and sometimes we do some messed up stuff. and you got to think of. Obviously, it's not the exact same because not everyone's dead, but think about it. Hopefully, if they follow the trajectory of No Way Home, Peter's all alone. He has nobody, right? And what is Frank Castle? He's always alone. He has nobody. So you could maybe, I wonder if you at the beginning kind of see Peter can kind of see a bit of himself in Frank, of a guy that's secluded himself, but that might bring him back to his friends. Be like, oh, look what happens when I shut everyone away. I become what Frank Castle is. So I could almost see at the beginning, not that he's like, I'm down to kill people, Frank, but maybe like a more vengeful Spider-Man, but then he realizes, hey, that's too far.
Didn't we get the confirmation a few days ago that MJ and Ned are in this movie now?
They are in a
Was that on
minor
Weekly Geek
role,
discussed last
supposedly.
week?
No, it broke on the Friday, same time as this.
Okay,
So yeah,
okay.
that was confirmed that they're both back in minor roles. Apparently, Zendaya's role's been described as like kind of the same length as Homecoming. So remember, she's kind of around in there, but not too much. So
I wonder what
just
they're
think
even going to do with those characters. If you're not going to dive really back into them, what's even the point? Like, is he just going to be sulking around, going to coffee shop still? Like, I don't know. Is that
Yes.
really what we're doing?
I think you're gonna have two things where he's gonna be watching them from the roof, like, solemn, like, look at their life, and then I think they're at one point in a college or in a class gonna bump into each other, or maybe that's how the movie ends, is like he joins a college class, and unfortunately MJ is also in that class, and it's kind of, I think it's gonna be, I know you don't like it, but I think it's gonna be,
Or he has to like
stuff
save
like
one of
that.
them, but then he kind of has
Yeah.
to choose, like, okay, do I distance myself or do I use this as like an in to like befriend them again or whatnot? But I guess that would be different because he'd be Spider-Man, not Peter in those moments.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, the more we hear about this movie, the more it's like potential grounds for an extremely messy movie. Like, it feels like we're just dealing with a lot of different things at once. So I hope, like, I want a Frank thing going on, but like, I don't know. I feel like, does that really fit with like the Ned style like Spider-Man? I feel like those are diametric opposites of like tones for Spider-Man.
Ned becomes Hobgoblin, and Frank's like, oh, I'll take care of that for you, Peter. Oh, don't worry now, don't worry. This I was going to bring up a classic fan that people have been sharing, though. This was in a storyline where Peter did get beat up by the Hulk, and Frank saved him and found him. So I bet they could maybe replicate something like this.
Okay.
And I wonder if that's a situation where, is it something like that where Peter is doing stuff and Hulk snaps, and then he does get taken out, and Frank takes it upon himself, like, well, I'm gonna protect New York, but that's not really what Peter would want, obviously. Like, that's what's so interesting, because not even when you brought up the killing thing down, like, I think No Way Home does do that, but I think it's like an immovable object meeting an unstoppable force, because I don't know, either you have to bring this movie really down or you got to bring Frank really up, because even Frank in Netflix, or sorry, the Frank in the Born Again, you can't have, he's not doing that in Brand New Day. Like, there's no way. There's no, like to me, for Peter Parker, like, what are
Born
they gonna
Again,
do?
Brand New Day. Those are similar
They are?
concepts, though.
Yeah, they are. I just feel like, is it just going to be Frank the Vigilante who, wants to kill Hulk? Or is it going to be the Frank, the murderer? And I just don't see, I don't know if they get to go that far. Obviously, John Berthel, he's probably just happy to get the bag. But it's just like, what? Like,
But I don't know. Is he though? Like, I guess it's a different bag you get for a movie versus D plus. But we
Yes.
know that he rejected that first original Daredevil script because it just wasn't right. And so I don't know if I see him signing up to the movie for the same reason. Now, once again, maybe that bag is like 10 times as big, and he's like, I don't care, I'll do it. Sure, why not? And maybe that bag went up after they saw like the hype level for people seeing him in Born Again too. So maybe it is just a bag thing. But I don't know. It seems like this character is really important to him, and I don't know if he would want to like just. But once again, things can change late into, like, we sometimes know these MCU movies like are changing scripts on the day or like in the moment. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it could even veer off what he signed up for in the first place, I guess.
and to your point, before I throw to Kirkland, I think for me, there is a worry as far as you got Spider-Man dealing with all his friends and life stuff. You got Punisher, you got Hulk. I would assume there's going to be some other villain that is like pushing Hulk, right? Like, I don't just think the main bad is just Bruce Banner turning bad, right? And I still question if that's a good move to do. If that is the move, if it's Hulk going bad, I know it is different because it's Bruce Banner and it's Ruffalo, but that is just the plot of Brave New World, pretty much. It's going to be the finale of, okay, Red Hulk and Green Hulk go bad, and it's people trying to take them down. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I do think, because we had talked about this before, I do think from the Sony side, this makes a lot of sense, because before people would throw out, as much as I don't, it sounds mean, people would always throw out Charlie Cox as Daredevil, which I hope he is in here still somehow, but that's not the equivalent of Sam Jackson, Robert Downey, and Benedict Cumberbatch. We've talked about it before, where it's like they want like a big star or they want multiple, and to me, I don't think Berthnall or Ruffalo are on that level separately, but as a package, I think they kind of are, where it's like, hey, we don't have one big star, but we got two of the B tier guys, and and even Berthnall, like I feel like people really like him, and Ruffalo, I think is a give or take, but maybe like Taylor's saying, maybe people when they see that Hulk again, they're like, okay, we're getting back to the nitty gritty, that what I love. So from Sony's standpoint, that makes sense. From Punisher, I'm very happy. I love. Me and Dylan covered an animated series. I love the Punisher, even in comics, like Peter Parker dynamic, because even Matt, he teeters on that line of I might kill somebody, but I'm not gonna. Peter, like he does, but not as much as Matt Murdock does. So, and it's very a fun full circle where when they were auditioning for Daredevil and for Spider-Man, they helped each other, Berthnall and Tom Holland, in real life. They auditioned with each other before they went to their real auditions. So that's really fucking cool that all these years later it's happening. So the Punisher of it all, I love. And even right now, I think, like I said, thematically it makes sense. Punisher's alone. Spider-Man is now alone. He's going to see Mir as a Frank, or Frank as a Mir of, oh, this is what would happen if I stay alone. I can't do that. Maybe that helps Frank Castle's a character too. I don't know. So I love all that. It's still the Hulkness of it all. It feels like a very odd combo. And even then, just like, I love Punisher, but like, even for him to be like, I'm going to take down the Hulk, it's like, oh, okay. Like that's, unless he gets the War Machine suit, sure, like I'm a Batman guy, I get it, I can suspend belief, but that's a big jump to be like, I'm gonna go from he couldn't even take down Kingpin's goons in Daredevil Born Again to I'm gonna take down the big
You get
green
some
machine.
gamma radiation. It's a little.
Frank gets hulked up. Oh my
turns
god!
into like Bane from
Yeah.
from Batman back.
Please
Yeah.
no.
I do see everyone's questions. We'll go after Kirkland because some points in there. But yeah, Kirkland, how you feeling as a Spidey guy? Hulk in there, Punisher. Sound like it's all but official now. That's gonna be happening. The rumor is it's shooting July, August, so we should know relatively soon. Just kind of all this stuff. They're not going to Comic-Con obviously, so no like panel or something. But just from set photos and stuff, we'll know. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I love this news. It was a fun rumor when Dylan and I were covering it at the C tier level. So congratulations. Does that get an upgrade now? Is that Scooper? Does that get
Yeah,
full letter grade increase?
It's the person that dropped the scoop. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago. You guys haven't talked to him that much, but the guy that hosted our trivia battle, John Roca, he hosted the Marvel side one year. That was his scoop, and
look at him.
friend of the show. I don't like saying that because like I've only talked to him a few times. He was gracious enough to host Extra Life, but yeah, it came from him. He said he had a source that told him. So yeah, I'll bump him up to C+ now. So there you go.
There you go.
John.
But yeah, I mean, just in terms of the pairing, it's so much fun just thinking about like where those two characters are kind of on just their path, like in the MCU. They're both on their own and very, very different, just like morals and kind of like how they go about what they do, which is, fight crime, usually for the better good. And just trying to do what they can. But just putting them like together in a dysfunctional buddy cops scenario is just so fun to me. So I hope there's some humor in it, but I hope it's not just like over the top, because Punisher is still the Punisher, and I still want to feel the essence of that character. And I mean, just with some of the ideas that you guys were already talking about, spitballing with the Hulk and stuff, like I can already just kind of see like a similar like story pattern, I guess. Like you brought up the comparison to Captain America, and like I can see that going about in a similar
Brave
way.
New World, another B. Lots of B's going on in the MCU right now.
Yeah, I can definitely see the story going in a similar way, but like that still kind of gets me excited because of the pieces that are involved. I definitely think, I don't know, I still think we're in like the twilight of the Mark Ruffalo Hulk journey in the MCU. I don't think it's gonna be like killed off or anything in a non-Avengers project just because he's been around for so long. What's that?
So they're gonna let Frank do it?
Just break his back, just like fucking
like Thanos did him in Infinity War. That's what Berthold. He just busts out the army training and just.
I mean,
takes him
that would be
down.
crazy, and I feel like unexpected. So like if it did happen, I would just be totally perplexed. I don't think it would happen in a non-Avengers project though, just because he's been around for so long. But I would love that like the Hulk that we know, whether it's Smart Hulk or whatever, is just like gone like after this movie too. Like even if Hulk's still around, it's just like that more like rage induced, and maybe he's not even necessarily on our side. He's just like a neutral wild card out there next
like
time that
that
we see
again,
him.
yeah.
I think that would be really fun. So I don't know. I can see it going. I feel like I'm trying to like not think about the craziest situations ever that could happen with all these members. Like I'm gonna get John Bernthal's Punisher riding the Hulk off into battle or something. But like, I mean, that would be fun. I still think it would be like the more simple approach with like the comparisons to Brand New Day, but or not Brand New Day. My gosh, Brave New World.
Yeah. Terrible.
Rebrand.
What were they
Terrible.
doing?
Rebrand. I didn't think it was a bad name until I'm trying to say the two together. But I don't. Yeah, no, this is fantastic. Really, really exciting. And I mean, yeah, Taylor, are we gonna jump in our Punisher? Our Punisher.
It's on the calendar, I think.
There
It's
we go.
happening. I
There
think
we
I
go.
do
It's
have.
cooking.
Yeah, if people don't know, we are doing the Punisher retrospective. These guys are going to do the first or the 2 seasons of the Punisher show, and then we'll do the 3 movies that were Dolph Lundgren, Thomas Jane, and the late great Ray Stevenson. So we'll be doing that in 2026. So that's why you join Patreon, because you can support us for all that type of stuff. So
When did what years were the Punisher seasons? When did those come out, Travis?
I think the last one was Jessica Jones, and I think that came out around like 2018, 19. So I feel like the Punisher is probably 2017, 2018, something like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if like was Punisher pre-Civil War even?
No, it was not, because
It
I
was
remember
after? Okay.
there was talking about C tiers, and ones we were on. There was a big C tier scoop that like Daredevil was going to be in Civil War. So
Right.
well, I guess okay. I think he might have been in season 2 of his like Daredevil, but I don't think the Punisher show had happened yet.
Okay.
So
I'm
it was
just I'm trying to
2019.
think back at like, watching these shows in real time that we often did and like reviewing them, like thinking back like Spider-Man not even in the MCU at that point, but like thinking about, wow, the Punisher someday Berthel's going to be in like a movie,
Yeah.
like a Spider-Man movie all these years later is kind of a crazy thought.
Well, and even then, it feels
fun to
weird
think
because it's
back
like
on.
we're talking about like, oh, who's going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars since all the new Avengers, but this is very much like, even though Berthel and Tom Holland aren't in the first few phases, it feels like core Marvel characters, right?
They've
With
been in there for
Hulk.
like so long now, yeah.
Yeah, it's not using their new toys at all. So Punisher debuted in 2017 and then ended in 2019. So there you go. There's your little.
And Civil War
timeline
was
there. 2016.
was it
So it was the year
2016?
after.
Yeah,
so
okay.
he just missed it. He could have been there to help out Team Cap for sure, because that's in the comics books. He's highly respects Captain America. One time Captain America
Oh.
like talks him down, and like Frank like almost, I don't want to say comes to tears. But
I'm
he
so
gets,
surprised by that. I feel like Captain America is such a rules guy, and Punisher is very much anti-rule.
He's a war vet. That's why they got that connection there. So that's
I
why.
see.
Let's see. Let's sort of
So
reverse that.
Killmonger, is that going to be like his role model too?
Well, if he died, maybe. But he died. They didn't get to meet, right? So he's dead. That didn't happen. So, but let's take an ad break and we're going to talk about some of these questions, and we'll be right back. And we're back. And if you didn't want any of those ads, you can join Patreon. You get a bunch of stuff. As I talked about earlier, our Patreon exclusives. We got the Fantastic Four retrospective all up there right now. We got the Superman one. We got the, what else did we do? Mission Impossible this year. And then some fun ones will be coming in the fall. You get this and every episode ad free. I guess I should pimp this out that I never do. You get the entire backlog because, well, we don't like, I just re-released some of the Jurassic World reviews. But if you want everything on there, you don't want to wait for some to get re-released. I think every single episode we've done is on Patreon. So because I
It's a
think
ridiculous amount of posts, but you can search. There's
Yes.
tags. It's easy to find things.
Exactly. So you get all that. And yeah, like we said, stuff like Punisher, stuff, other things we're doing in the later year, whether it's GV Day or stuff for next year. We really appreciate the help, and that's how we do it, because that's how you can create all the spin-off shows and you get some benefits. And a shout out to our Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, Charlie Randall, and Cocktail Clay. And you can go there, send some questions, which we'll get into. But in a second, I will bring up this one that Detail said, which I have seen as a very popular theory. How would you guys feel of Frank getting involved if it's symbiote Spider-Man? Because obviously, you talk about somebody, if they're going down a dark alley, or not dark alley, a dark path, that's Peter the symbiote. Who better to match? Like, because you could have Frank unloading machine guns, everything, because it's like Venom symbiote. Same thing on Hulk. You could have two characters, Black Suit Spider-Man and Hulk, who you could have Frank shooting RPGs, nukes, and it's not going to matter because, like, oh, they're protected, plot armor-wise. I don't think it's going to happen because, again, I feel like that's a lot of stuff, but I would not be opposed because, again, that would fit thematically with Frank as far as the very dark Spider-Man, so...
I feel like this movie's messy enough. I don't know if we need to chuck symbiote-ness in there.
I agree, Dylan. Although visually, I would definitely eat that up. I'm sure it would be good.
You could get Symbiote Hulk. That'd be pretty.
And it could just be
pretty
jumping on all the characters. It could be Symbiote Punisher at some point. Symbiote Punisher
Frank.
riding the Hulk.
Symbiote Ned.
like I pitched earlier. The Hobgoblin.
What about you, Taylor? Would you want Symbiote Spider-Man going off against the Punisher here?
Well, wasn't and I correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not 100% confident in my Punisher Venom symbiote knowledge. But how does is it Venom Agent or Agent Venom? That's not
Flash
a Punisher,
Thompson.
right?
No,
that's Flash.
not,
Okay,
It is like another war vet who loses his legs.
That's U.S. Agent.
Not him either.
Another war vet.
Yeah, I don't know if he respects U.S. Agent because he does a lot of bad things.
He respects him, I'm sure.
No, he does not respect them. Imagine this U.S. Agent and Punisher. Man, Frank would wipe the floor with them.
That'd be a good combo.
But speaking of, if you're not in the live chat, you can join Patreon, send questions anytime we do newscasts. Scott Loves Me 69 has a question. He has a quick aside. He says, have you guys seen Studio 66 with Foo Fighters? He also said, fuck Dave Grohl. I don't know why, but there you go.
Dave Grohl cheated on his wife, I think, something like that.
He had an illegitimate child, yeah.
Yeah, sure. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's why he said fuck Dave Grohl.
It could be. He announced it in like the silliest way, Dave Grohl. It's pretty funny. I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. It goes back to Nirvana. He said it was mildly campy, but a decent time. No, I've not heard it or seen it. I'm a big Foo Fighters fan, but I guess not enough to like go check out the movie. But I've heard good things about it, but I've never seen Studio 66.
I have not seen it.
Negative.
Sorry.
I've not seen it, but I'll never forget their song "Walk" from the Thor credits.
Well, and it's also in the bar too. They play it
Is
for
it
like
really?
20 seconds when him and Eric Selvig are playing, and it always bugs me because I'm like, this is an expensive song. Like, why, why do you?
Dave
pay for
Grohl,
this?
also the drummer of Tenacious D, crushes it. So there you go.
Oh, is he
actually?
like
He is.
always?
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, didn't know that. What,
neither.
Tenacious D, Nirvana? That's a great
Yeah, he's in the
catalog.
movie. He plays the devil. Speaking of 666.
Oh
in
my
the movie.
God, that's so
Oh,
funny.
There you go.
That's crazy.
Taylor, what did you say? You talking about the only Foo Fighters song I jump to is Other Guys. That like when I'm thinking movie moments, Aim for the Bushes. There goes my heroes. Let's see. Where do you think Punisher and Spider-Man will interact for the first time? I.e., during a crime stop, just on a street, something else. Dylan, where do you think these two bump it? What's the introduction between Frank and Peter Parker? Or I guess just Spider-Man, because he's not Peter Parker anymore. But,
Fuck, I mean, we talked about so many rumors with this movie. Who knows what the heck's going to go on? But I'm going to say that maybe it's like a dimly lit alleyway, crime situation. Maybe for some reason, some villain has like a power glove or something. Spidey's getting bested a little bit, and then Punisher comes out of nowhere and kills the guy. And Spidey's pissed because obviously he just wants to web him up and get him apprehended by the police. But Frank has a different method, so he just headshots the guy, and then we deal with the repercussions there. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but that's my best guess right now.
I'm on the exact same wavelength as you. That's going to happen. My only change that is they will catch him, and he'll be all webbed up, and he'll be like, oh, thanks, man. And then Frank will just fucking gun him down. So it's going to be worse that he's like an
nice.
unarmed villain. But I think
That's
whatever
good.
it is, even if it's your version or my version, it is. They're fighting. Frank is working on Buzz. Anything will be someone lower tier, like they'll bring Shocker back or... God, that's what's going to happen to Scorpion. I just know it. We're waited 3 movies to get Scorpion. He's going to be there, and Frank's just going to pop him in the head. But I think that's how it is, and I think it's like a combination of Peter is already entangled with Punisher before the Hulk stuff happens. Because I've seen people throw out the theory of like, oh, Bruce is his college professor. But I'm always like, does Bruce have time to be a college professor right now? Like, it just feels weird for the event. I guess unless he's retired, but it just feels odd. That feels too much like a lizard dog. Like, we've done that before of the teacher that Peter trusts and something bad happens. Like, I don't want... Again, I'm not so hot on the Hulk angle, but yes, mid-crime, Frank takes it too far, and then they go that route, so...
It's a good pitch. It's a good pitch. I was gonna say the same thing, but to say something a little bit different, I'm gonna say that they meet. Like Peter Parker meets Frank Castle first. Like they actually run into each other, and maybe
Where do
Peter's
coffee shop?
Where do those two run into each other?
looking to hire somebody for
at a bar.
At
you know,
MJ's
Peter's-
coffee shop, and
Peter's
he's like
just-
flirting
just-
with MJ.
At a
Peter had a
bar,
rough
oh,
day,
no.
and the guy at the bar, Frank Castle, just gives him some really hard advice that is like maybe something
Hard
they doesn't want to
liquor, too.
accept, but it's like that is the reality of the situation, and yeah, he takes it to heart and then carries that, and then at some point, yeah, when he sees him as Spider-Man, it'll be when Frank offs a man, and then yeah, Peter will just.
Who was jumping? Who's the jumping?
Anyone. I mostly it's Frank pushing the guy. I guess it would be. So it's just a
Kirkland
brutal
just likes
fall.
that
It,
kid,
it would be a brutal death that
Yeah.
Spider-Man witnesses.
Maybe
Frank perform.
maybe for a bit more drama at the bar, Frank like on his iPhone is watching like the Jay Jonah podcast or something too. So there's
Big
a
support.
little
Like
someone's
guy.
got to kill this guy.
That's how they meet. He just guns down Jonah in his office. Yeah.
That'd be
No,
crazy.
maybe Kirkland. Maybe your gif is like Frank picking up a villain and he jumps with the like he lands on like Austin Powers style. You know, that's how Frank's new movies. You're gonna take out the Hulk somehow. You know.
and he just walks away like John Wick. He's just that tough.
Oh,
and badass.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be a fight they go on forever. John Wick and Frank Castle. They would never die. But
It would be bloody. It would be a lot of
Yes.
damage invoked, but yeah.
I think if you were to have the dynamic of Punisher trying to like, I don't know, instill in Peter to kill or something like that, it kind of runs a similar line of Goblin trying to get Peter to like kill him because he's just kept like throwing shit at him and just trying to piss him off, and then it was Peter that saved Peter, stopped him from making that mistake. And the only did Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man kill anybody?
not in that
I
movie,
thought
but he insinuated in
Gwen
between.
Stacy.
He said, "I
That's
got
right.
bitter." while they were
Got
talking
bitter.
about murdering people, he said, "I got bitter," which meant he definitely killed some fucking dudes after Gwen Stacy. So that's what I mean. Like they have set that up that even though
he
Toby
became
stopped
good friends
him,
with the Punisher of his universe.
yeah, and in his universe, yeah. Like but even though Toby stopped them, doesn't mean Tom Holland's Peter was not gonna like decapitate Defoe right there, right? So just because he's gone. Does the same thing. Like at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, you might assume like, oh hey, you know, he's gonna be Spider-Man again. He'll figure it out. But apparently no, he was killing dudes. So maybe Tom's
Yeah.
the same way. Maybe I don't know.
So in this world, I think you're gonna have a familiar face. Could be like Ned or someone. They fell out of school, getting bad grades, so they're robbing a bank.
He's Ned's
Punisher's gonna
Ned's
show up
robbing a
and
bank.
yeah, Spider-Man's gonna show up to stop Ned, but Punisher's gonna just execute him in cold blood, and that's it. But Ned's not gonna actually die. He's gonna come back as Hobgoblin. So there you go.
Amnesia.
Is it like this? I forget what movie it was. I think it was No Way Home when it's just like the guys are robbing the bank with like the masks of like Captain America and Iron Man and stuff. Ned just has
Or
like
Homecoming.
yeah, there you go. He just has a mask like one of those guys.
Yeah, but the Punisher skull on there.
No, it's the Hulk,
And then
and
he
that's how
grabs
Hulk
him
gets
and jumps
mad.
off the bed.
yeah.
Because like, oh, Hulk was Jonah's like, Hulk was clearly robbing this bank, and Hulk's like,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't. You know, he gets
Or it's
all
just
like,
like
Insert a-
Quicksilver, someone completely random. Like what the hell?
You
is
can
going on?
insert a Foo Fighters song in there too.
yeah, the Pretender. There you go. Put in the Pretender. It works. But yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be exciting times. We don't even know who the hell. Again, we also Sadie Sink in here. We don't know who she is. There was the latest rumor that she's Gwen Stacy. I would absolutely love that if she was Gwen Stacy, because especially again, that'd be two ways of making Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker very important. Of saying, hey, after Gwen passed, he started killing people, and the fact that he said the name Gwen, I would just love to see that reaction of Tom Holland. He's in his classroom. He's sitting. He's meeting all these students, and some girl sits beside him, and they start talking. He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" He's like, "I'm Gwen Stacy." But think about if he heard that name, he'd be like, a second, it would click in like, oh shit, like this is the
Spidey
guy.
senses
He starts
What did he
stalking
start
her,
doing, Taylor? No.
and then that's when she hires like, he's like,
Frank
Punisher, I need some
Castle.
help. I gotta stalk her, Frank. You gotta help me.
Don't worry, Gwen, I got you covered. No, but like, I want that moment of him hearing the name Gwen Stacy, and he knows, oh shit, that's somebody to be. And I don't know, again, how the love triangle gets in there. I don't think they're gonna go that route, but, and I don't even know if she'd be Spider Gwen, but yeah. Who knows? But we will see. So let's move on to this next topic here. I wanted to talk about this because me and Kirkland don't got a cast for a while, and I also want Taylor and Dylan's thoughts, but just in case not. James Bond, rumored to get a director shortlist, or it's not rumored, it does. We're going through a weird thing where it was like, hey, Amazon's maybe going to try to speak with Nolan or something like that, and, well, I'll say Chris Nolan. It doesn't seem like that worked out. And then it was like, okay, now it looks like it's going to be Alfonso Cuarón, who did Roma, who did Gravity, who did Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah, Children of Men. Great pick, right? And then it was in a thing where when that rumor was happening, he's like, yeah, we're just figuring it all out. And then like months later, it's like, yeah, that doesn't look like it's happening anymore. So I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing Amazon's maybe have some control issues, would be my guess, that maybe they are going to some auteurs being like, hey, you want to do Bond? And they're like, oh, I do this, this, and this. And then the Amazon, in my opinion, is like, oh, I don't know if we want to do that. But now there's a new short list right now of Edward Berger, I think it's or Berger, not Berger, Berger, Denis Villeneuve, Edgar Wright,
Heard of him.
Jonathan Nolan, and Paul Kinzer. Edward Berger had done I'm forgetting the war movie he did, but he did, and I'm forgetting the Priest movie he did too, that just was with Ray Fiennes. The Covenant, or is it The Covenant?
The Cardinal?
No, I'll find out after. Really good movie, but very solid director. Denis Villeneuve, we've talked about him many times. Edgar Wright, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Shaun of the Dead. He's working on Running Man right now. Last Night in Soho. Jonathan Nolan hasn't directed too much. He directed a movie called Transcendence that I've never seen. I used to meme on Emily. She hated me for it. I used to log on to. If she leave her phone, I would take her phone and pick up her Facebook app and get the poster of Transcendence and just would post, oh, this is my favorite movie of all time. One time someone did like, oh, I love that movie. She'd always get mad at me and then she'd delete it. But obviously he's tied with Amazon because he's the showrunner and head creator of Fallout. I think with somebody else, but with Fallout. And then Paul King is quality, but definitely the most random choice. He's done all the Paddingtons and then he did Wonka as well. So not what you would think for Bond, but obviously a very skilled, talented director. So I'm going to throw to my other man who's on the Bond retro, which, stay tuned. Could return sooner than you think with a game coming out. You never know what's happening in 2026. But Kirkland, out of this list, who do you have a... I know you're going to say probably Denis. So let's say if it was Denis, who else? I'm going to be honest, Denis is not happening. They might be talking to him. Two things. They're about to film Dune at the end of this year, beginning next year. He's gonna be busy, and if they're having issues with Chris Nolan and Alfonso, I think Denis is another guy that's not gonna. He doesn't strike me as like he'll play ball, but not completely. Like I don't think he's gonna bend over like maybe some other people might. I'll say bend forward maybe because bending over is always could be good. But out of
Jonathan
this list,
Nolan would, Christopher Nolan's lesser
I think
known brother.
I think everyone on this list would bend over one way or another. But Denis wouldn't.
We need to switch up this metaphor that we're using.
I mean, I don't like. What was Edgar's film?
Oh, I haven't even got back there. Let's see here.
It was like, I don't know, just very different genre.
You might have saw his war movie. Okay,
He did Baby Driver, right?
No, that's Edgar Wright. Okay, so Edgar
Isn't that what you said?
Berger. No. Edgar.
Berger.
Or who did you say? Kirkland.
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, then Dylan was right.
Good
Wait,
job, everyone.
I'm so confused now.
But that's not one of the directors that you pitched, right? It was
Yeah,
I
Edgar
swear
Wright.
you said that name.
Edgar Wright's on that list. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
he is.
Ed. Okay, hang
We
on.
need to get this
There's
fucking burger guy out of here, okay?
give me the names
He's drawing a lot of
Berger.
confusion in the room.
Edward Berger. It was Conclave, which is a great movie, and All Quiet on the Western Front, both nominated for Best Picture. So that's Edward.
Wow, but
and
they
then
didn't
there's
win, though, did they?
No, it did not. And then there's Edgar Wright. He did Baby Driver, Shaun the
Okay.
Dead, Last Night in Soho. That.
Ooh, okay. I like both these Eds.
Wait, have you even seen those Conclaves? Are All Quiet on the Western Front?
No, but I like how he was nominated.
He likes
That
an
seems-
Oscar movie.
Yeah, I
Two?
did.
Yeah.
The last Oscar movie I saw was phenomenal. It was a great experience.
Yeah,
Speaking
wasn't
of
that an
mystery
arc you were
movie.
going to go on that you were getting into Oscar movies or something? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, and then I had to watch like 1,000
Mr.
1994
September 5.
movies.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Fucking-
didn't remember last year? Weren't you sold on The Brutalist?
Yes.
Yeah, and it didn't
Even
come to
I was like,
theaters.
I don't know if I'm fucking this movie. You're like, oh, this trailer is amazing. Like, I'll sit there for all 4
It's
hours.
like a hype tidal
Us.
wave. The waves go in and out, and if I don't get it on that high point, it's lost, and I'll I'll find it in the channel at some
How's
point later
Death
on.
Stranding 1 going? How's that going?
We're
He's
talking
back on
about
Total
Ed's.
War. You know he's not playing Death Stranding.
I saw the title side quest. Like, oh, there's no. He's like, oh, maybe on the sequel I'll get back to it. Like, no, not happening. Yeah. How's
Plans
Elden Ring
change.
going?
Plans change.
Yeah, go.
Is this side quest?
He
or is
beat
this,
Stellar Blade.
It
Talking
can't
about
be.
Ed's. Yeah, thank you.
Who Stellar
Defender.
Blade, whatever. Oh, the hot. I beat the game with the hot anime chick. What a surprise! Kirkland beat that one. You know.
Hey, whoa, he
Hey,
used
now.
the teddy bear skin? Come on.
Yes,
Break.
thank you, Defender. A lot of college
Fluffies.
football also,
What you got
but
inside
Yeah.
speaking of the Eds, I mean, yeah, Edgar Wright, or Edward Wright, no, Edgar Wright. I feel like that one I'm drawn to more, not just because I've seen movies under his banner, but it just the vibe is more of a fun time as opposed to. I'm assuming Conclave is probably a very dry, depressing.
It has some dark comedy. It's about them replacing
Okay.
the Pope. The Pope has died, and they're having a conclave to the side. But there's some good comedic beats in there.
And then the Western
very
Front
Bondish.
sounds like just a war sad
That's
movie.
serious. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Which,
the
like,
drama.
I
Depressing.
want some of that in Bond, but like I don't want a whole Bond adventure just being that. I think it's definitely a specific cocktail that needs to be shaken not stirred, and I trust the right man on the job, and that's Edgar Wright.
Oh,
Oh, I
God
see.
There you
damn.
go.
Look at this
Or
guy.
Denis, if he just drops everything and wants to
Cop out.
bend
Yeah.
over upside down.
Denis is the obvious choice. I would love it because Nolan is like
Which
he's
Nolan?
Sorry, Chris Nolan. Yeah, Chris.
You gotta
I
be
don't-
specific now.
No, Jonathan. This for me is all a very kind of safe list, other than Denis and Edgar, and I don't think either of those two will do it. I think Denis, obviously, made my points, but I would love that because Nolan did Batman, then Denis did Bond. I would like that kind of them not doing the same thing, but something similar. But yeah, it's not gonna be Denis. Edgar, some of those those earlier films, I don't know if, and this is coming from a guy that does not really love Scott Pilgrim. I worry about the humor part, and if that starts to weigh up too much, I trust him enough to know like Bond shouldn't just all be humorous, but I just worry whatever type of humor in there might be not the right fit. Jonathan Nolan, I don't know. Paul King is very talented, so if he were to get it, that's like the funnest experiment is to see, hey, what does a guy that does Paddington and Wonka do a Bond like?
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
That's a
like-
pivot I want to see.
And those films feel very British, so it's like, well, I think they got that part down. And then I think Berger is like the safe choice. Edward is the safe choice because he's done 2 nominated films. I just feel like with him, I know exactly the type of Bond movie we get, and I feel like Amazon would be happy with that. And that's no insult because I think Conclave was in my top 10 or 15 last year. I really liked it. I want the first Bond for the new one, just like we got with Pierce. I guess he can't Connery, but with Craig, like something really flashy. And maybe he'll do that. Maybe Edward would surprise me, like, oh, I was expecting this, but he gave me that. And I guess you could make that case, well, oh, Edgar Wright, but there's certain type of flashes I want. And I don't know that there's a flash. And then there's like a flash bang, and Edgar Wright could be and I love Last Night in Soho, so I could be wrong. Like he peels back the comedy there. Maybe ask me again in November after Running Man when him and Glenn Powell do that. I want to see that's pretty action oriented. But Dylan, also you kind of check out Bonds here and there depending on Golden Geeks. But Paul King, would that make you go see it, or? But that's just the choice he said. That would be a fun one, eh?
Yeah, I'm potentially open to seeing these movies, and I think the best place to jump in is when they recast, get a new Bond, new timeline, and that would be the easiest place for me to make my entry point, walk in that door. Especially, I'm sure I'll be hyped on Bond after just playing an endless amount of IO's Bond game, which is probably going to come out maybe before this first movie would be. I don't really know the timeline.
absolutely.
Games take a lot
I think-
longer, but I don't know. That's
don't
already
think this
announced
mov-
and it has trailers, right?
Yeah, I don't think this movie's out to like 27 the earliest.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Edgar Wright is one I actually don't want to do this because I like, because he's like kind of the writer. He always writes and directs his stuff, or at least for the most part.
Yeah, if not, he'll have like a co-writer, but he's
Yeah.
heavily involved in all that.
And Last Night Soho, Baby Driver, I love those movies, and I really, I just want him to keep making his weird stuff, and I don't want, not even that I don't want him to have the shackles that Amazon would eventually put on him, but I just want him to go make his weird, cool, creative stuff and not feel like he has to fit like that Bond template. I'd rather see someone else take a swing at it. So I think the Paul King one actually, is the most interesting to me because it is certainly a pivot, but like I loved Wonka and Paddington are like what the best reviewed movies of all time or something, right? So it's
Yes.
like I think that'd be cool. He's obviously great at making movies, so he could do it. So who was the Fallout person?
Jonathan Nolan. So obviously, writer of the Dark Knight
Oh, that was
trilogy.
John. Okay,
That's his brother.
so you
Yeah,
know what?
obviously,
I'm
yeah.
also down for that. I think that would be really cool. Now that is a big swing and potentially a bit of
Yeah.
a risk, but I don't know. I feel like Fallout super popular. People are really hyped for season 2. So I think there's Fallout and Bond I think are quite different, but I do think there are some similarities there in terms of action. Like there's so many different types of characters you're putting in a Fallout world. I'm sure you could graft some of that onto a Bond type character, and yeah, I mean I think the scale is there as well. So and set pieces, that kind of thing. So I think that's a decent pick as well. So honestly, this is a pretty solid list of potentials. Denis is another one I absolutely don't want him to do this. I want him to make. I don't know what next, but if he's done with Dune, I'm actually fine with that because like. Blade Runner, Dune, go on to some other huge sci-fi thing, whether it's IP, like a previous IP or something new for him. I just kind of want him to do that. And we all know Denis hates dialogue, and I feel like you need dialogue in a Bond movie. So I don't know, maybe he's not the best
You can't
bet.
say Bond, James Bond in this one. We're not letting him
Yeah.
do that this time. I
Yeah.
can't do a French accent. So,
Yeah.
but and well, the rumor. So what was supposed to happen with Denis is he's working on a film. People think he's chasing the Oscar. That sounds very similar to Oppenheimer. It's like a war biopic type of movie. But then the rumor is that him and WB wanted to do Dune and just capitalize on the success. So it sounds like after Dune, his next movie is like an Oppenheimer type of like, this is a biography about some war, some bomb, or something like that.
That's really disappointing. But hopefully after that, he goes back to making cool, big sci-fi stuff.
That's really disappointing. Before Taylor goes, I guess to give him some credit, not it sounds bad, but for Jonathan Nolan, he wrote Memento. He wrote obviously with his brother as well, but Prestige, Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, 103 episodes. I don't think he wrote them all, but of Person of Interest, and then Westworld as well, which I was actually a fan of that first season. Never went to it anything
Wow.
more. And then director, he. Oh no, I'm complete. Who the fuck? I'm giving him shit for no reason.
Huh?
Did he not direct trans? Oh, I'm completely wrong. I
Whoa.
apologize.
Is it a
So-
third Nolan brother out of the?
No,
back
it's the
corner?
guy. It's the guy who was the cinematographer for one of the Dark Knight. I think it's Wally Feister or something like that. He went on to direct. I will find out. Transcendence. So I was wrong,
Why are you
but
mixing up Jonathan Nolan and Wally Feister?
because they're just like they're in the Nolan camp, right? Because it was always like from the team of Nolan.
One's a
from-
brother, one's
Yeah,
not.
Wally, is he like a cousin or something? What's going on here?
And I think I'm
in the bloodline?
Okay, here we go. We got Wally Feister. Yeah. Okay. So, and he didn't even write that all. But I will say this: what also like scares me a little bit that Jonathan Nolan's never directed actually a single movie. It's just been TV, and that to me is like I don't know if I want that
Sure.
for Bond. Like that's I don't know. And as I said before, they're not on the list. We'll talk about him tonight. My two other choices I'd love would be Steve McQueen. He directed Shame, and he's done a lot of other British stuff. But then my other choice, already said 28 years later, I would very much love Danny Boyle. At one point, he was supposed to direct a Bond. Scheduling conflicts happened, and then he didn't. I would love to see what and get Garland on there as a writer. I would love to see get some iPhones on there. Like I don't know. Let's see what's happening. But that. Danny Boyle to me is that's a type where that's like Paul King where it's like, okay, this is a style. Let's see if it's going to work or not. And I think like Danny Boyle, obviously, like he does a bunch of his own stuff, but he's done IP before too. So, Taylor, any of these float your boat? You know, same thing. You're kind of in and out on Bonds here and there.
Yeah, in and out. I mean, I'm always down for a Nolan. I mean, there's three brothers, and so let's get Johnny in there. Let's see what he's capable of. I'm all for
It's
that. Jonathan, yeah.
Do you think the family dinners get really awkward if Nolan his whole life has expressed how much he wants to do James Bond and his brother's like, oh, guess what I'm shooting this fall, big
Well,
bro.
yeah, he's flexing. He's flexing.
Now,
Wally Feister just breaks through the window like, I'm here, boys, and takes their meal and
Transcendence
runs.
I didn't realize that there were three Nolan brothers, but when I was
They're like the
third one
Hemsworths.
is?
well,
of
the third one, like,
director
is that
world.
true? Is that all true?
That is true, yeah.
Is it really? Oh, holy
the
shit!
third Nolan brother is a contracted killer. Legitimately, he is in prison now, but he was a hitman.
So he's gonna help write some
Castle.
story plots for James Bond or
That's
something.
insane.
Then maybe.
Maybe, I guess you could go to him and maybe you cast him. You cast him as the big comeback story, you know. But yeah, the third Nolan is a contracted killer. So,
He's
yeah.
the villain of Bond. It's like a contracted killer.
He was the first one who tried to get Bond.
He's real life Agent 47.
Everybody in the Nolan family is included in this except for Christopher Nolan, like even his convicted killer brother. But do you have a pick at it? So you're on the Jonathan Nolan. You want to
let's get John in there. Yeah.
Johnny.
We'll see. He like fall enough. So yeah, we'll see. We should hopefully we got the game coming out. There was rumors of an actor, but we're not going to talk about it right now because no one's seen anything he's done. So we'll see in the future. And I think we're a long ways away from that. But yeah, they need to announce a director here and get fucking going. Scott, when was No Time to Die? 2021, right? We're getting like
I
a
don't
Rise
know.
of
Yeah.
we're getting a Rise of Skywalker situation where, remember, they paid to partner with the studio and then they bought another $1 billion to buy James Bond, just flat out. So they've spent a lot of money to really do I'm not saying I'm not doing nothing, but just to kind of like kick tires around, like maybe this person, maybe this, but we will see. Let's take our last ad break. We're gonna have a bunch of random stuff coming up the last little bit here, so we'll be right back. And we're back. So this, Dylan, you can put in your thoughts if you want to on Strangers Chapter 2 if you watched the trailer.
I did, but I'll
okay,
bow
but-
out. You guys can tackle this one.
Taylor, I'm going to throw it at you because so obviously we did a retrospective for this, and then the original plan for this film release was they were going to release all 3 films in 1 year. It was something like summer, fall, and then end of year, like within a year, like January, right? Something like that. Not a calendar year, but within 12 months they were going to release. The first one came up, I think did well enough, but for whatever reason they decided to push it, probably because that was a dumb idea to be like, let's release them all in 12 months. But either way, it's coming out September 26th, and Taylor, in our Discord, you shared a gif of a train leaving. So I was like, oh, does that mean he's out on these reviews? So what do you think about this trailer, and are we still doing this, or has the train left? Are we, because like we said, now us being so busy with lots of stuff, we have to be a bit more picky and choosy. Is Strangers Chapter 2, is that train gone?
No, I meant in the sense that the train has left the station for them, like them putting this movie out.
Well, they already filmed those 2 movies, I think. So
and I don't know why they would wait so long as they did. So like the hype is gone, my energy is gone. That being said, like I'm still gonna be there to review it. If you guys are in for reviewing it, then I feel like we gotta go see this through, considering the fact that we've done the retro, we've done the homework, and here we are, chapter 2. So I feel like we gotta get into it. But after watching the trailer, I just felt like there was nothing was doing it for me with this. Like I've already seen
good
them
sell
do,
to finish the series off.
well, I mean, Halloween 2 already did the hospital kind of like escape, like girl in distress kind of scenario. And I like Halloween 2. I think it's great. But in this, like the claustrophobic, like close knit building kind of escapey kind of storyline, I don't know. I'm not there for it. And just the one line too, where the sheriff he's still in that bar, still in that diner, and they're talking like, oh, what about the murder, sheriff? Like, well, the girl's alive, and everyone in the bar looks at him. I was like, well, clearly we know the whole fucking town is in on this. They give away a little bit of stuff too in the trailer. That's unfortunate. So, I think this is a movie that should have not been. They should have just dialed it back a little bit and not go for something so grand. Because I feel like even then, promising this is like a 3-parter, I don't even know what they're gonna do for part 3 now at this stage. Like, what?
She's
Just
gonna
burn
hunt
the
them,
town?
I bet.
Oh, I guess, but we
I think
know
she
that they
escapes the
live.
town. She escapes the town, and then she comes back like with Frank Castle and like, you ready, Red? And then
Oh
they
yeah,
just fuck up.
she's
the town.
Gwen Stacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar look, hair and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they spend the whole movie in the hospital. I will say that. I think there's going to be a lot of her in the town.
Well, she goes back to the cabin. It looks like for whatever fucking reason.
You always have to do that in horror movies.
In
to where
part
it all
2,
started.
no.
You don't want to read a script I'm reading then. But like, you always go back to where it all started. You have to. But I don't know. I didn't love that first one. I don't mind them doing this whole thing with the town because at least what I took from this trailer is I was not excited, but I was like, okay, at least this looks different than what our complaints with the first one was. Okay, it's just a lesser than remake. So I'm still down, but the only way I'm down is I have to be with one of you to see it. This is not a movie I can see alone. Not for fear factor, just because I need another person there to have like a so bad it's so good experience, because I think watching this alone would just be a very solemn time for myself. Much doesn't matter how much buckets of corn I got, that ain't gonna help me, you know. So Taylor's got his ET finger up.
I will say, because you reminded me, one thing that the previous movie Chapter 1 did very, very well was playing with your peripheral vision. I really liked that. They did a really good job at that. So I think in the trailer there was a really, really good scene of just this long hallway in the basement of the hospital, and I like that. So I think they do some really good filming stuff, and the angles and the camera work. So hopefully, is that enough to save the movie? I don't know, but we'll see.
Kirkland, where's your train?
I had to look at the calendar because I wasn't sure what's coming out at that time. So
So you're luckily you're here.
26th, I think it comes on the same night as Peacemaker.
No,
reviews.
yeah, it does, because Peacemaker's me on the Thursdays, but we could always see.
We can move it, Kirkland.
I'm there for this movie. Come on now. I started this journey. I was kind of vibing with this trailer in a I don't even want to say it's so bad, it's so good. I like the music choice a lot. It's one of my favorite J. Cole songs of all time, even though I don't think it was the actual song. It was just the sample that he pulled from it, but got the vibe going. And I just kind of remembered some fun stuff from that first movie, and just thinking about the potential of where we're gonna be going. I don't think this trailer was like really good at selling just like, yeah, fuck yeah, her against the town, let's do it. But I don't know. I also feel like another thing in this trailer, it seems like they've already overstayed their welcome with like just this whole idea of the town being involved with the whole strangers murders and everything. And me saying that before we even get the second movie, let alone the third part of this adventure is something. But I mean, I'm there. I'm so down. I'm definitely. I'll see it with you lads for sure. I'll come across the pond if I have to. But yeah,
we'll go there one of the ways, you know. But
There you go.
There you go. We reviewed a trailer, and you got to hear some Geek First business discussed on air. So I guess Strangers Chapter 2, look out. Spoilers review coming to you in September. A quick draft update here. Not doing all of them, just doing one of them, because, you know, we got the superhero draft ending in about a month. And I thought, oh, Dylan had it maybe in the books here. But, you know, my good old friend there, James Gunn, and dropped a little nugget this week. So people that don't know, the superhero draft is we all draft 10 actors for the year, and if they're cast in a Marvel or DC property as a new character, we get points for them. Right now, currently, we have a month left for Comic-Con. That's when we'll switch over. Taylor's got Naomi Scott, Donnie Yen, Mark Hamill, Sigourney Weaver, Millie Bobby Brown, Sydney Sweeney, who's his 2-star, Kierna Shipka, Simone Ashley, Cillian Murphy, and Hugh Grant with 0 points. Kirkland's got Keanu Reeves, Jennifer Holland, Austin Abrams, Shamir Anderson, Freya Allen, Sophia Wilde, Jen Ortega, Alea Brown, right? Boyd Holbrook and Amanda Fix with 0 points. Dylan's got Ana de Armas, Sadie Sink with 1 point for Brand New Day, Sean Gunn, Murray Barlett, Glenn Powell, Kaylee Spinney, Josh O'Connor, Stephen Yen, Ella Purnell, and Ao Edaberry. Like I said, the 1 point there. And then I have Samar Weaving, Leia Sadu, Jodie Comer, Adam Driver, Daisy Edgar Jones, Katie O'Brien, Lee Jung Jae, Karen Gillan, Ryan Gosling, and the newly cast Palm Clementine, who's just a fucking robot in Superman. And she was, if people don't know my star picks, that means I got 2 points.
Very
so
clutch.
It's clutch, but we still got F4, and we still got Superman, especially Superman. Sean Gunn can pop up as another role. Like there's still some time
Likely.
for some things to happen. So we'll see. But yeah, I guess Ironheart, if anyone pops up in Ironheart. So we still got 3 more projects, but yeah,
Sigourney
6
Weaver, I think, might pop in there and get Taylor a point.
maybe.
I keep getting to shaft when it comes to the superhero draft. They're on the list. I pull them off the list, and then, fuck.
Well, maybe if you got rid, of feel like Mark
Some
Hamill and
self-shafting
Sigourney
going
Weaver.
on, sir.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's a close race, but, you know, James Gunn, if I get the win,
Well done,
I
sir.
appreciate it. I wanted to, not this year, because like we'll have our winners and whatnot, and we'll talk about it maybe off air, but I would like to enact a rule that, because obviously we're doing this for a 10-year, but I would like to enact a rule that in the future, next time we all redraft, that the winners, their prizes, maybe we could pick a retro or something like that, because, you know, we're doing this time. You know, because we don't.
How convenient to bring this up when you.
No, I
Yeah,
said not
this is
year.
very-
I said not this year.
Oh, well, you guys watch
Suspicious.
Shame 2
Yeah.
now?
We're gonna watch Shane again.
Harder, faster. No, I meant literally the 2025 one when we draft that year going forward. Like put a little stake on it, you know, something fun. Because
I like steak.
I like that we've done.
I
That with
do
the
feel like
Oscar
all of
draft.
our we should put none of our drafts really have any stakes. We got to
Yeah,
get more
so
stakes going on. Throw
I
it on
think
the
that'd
Barbie.
be fun, whether it's a movie or a game, something where it's like, hey, winner, you get to pick, and that's why there's only 4 drafts, so it's not like a crazy amount where it's like, okay, you know. So I think we should do that. I'm not saying this year, not saying because I got the win. I'm not making you watch Shame faster, harder.
Let's get it like really heavy, like winner, losers pay their rent or something for the month. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
You pulled back.
Are you doing okay over there financially, Taylor?
I gotta win this
Our draft is better.
I gotta win this draft, guys.
Please, Donnie.
Just see him crash out during Comic-Con. No. Okay, so now we got some questions, some fun questions that are all over the map. So Charlie Randell asks, after sitting on 28 years later for a little now, how does it stack up versus Sinners for you guys? It's constantly battling for that #1 spot for me. Dylan, you've not seen Sinners yet, right?
That is correct. So I cannot
Okay.
weigh in, unfortunately.
So you can't, but I want to ask you, where is 28 years later just sitting in your movie like rankings right now?
That is a good question. So I think my 1 and 2 right now are, and I have not seen. I've talked about recently. I've not seen very much this year. I'm
Yeah, me
not a
neither.
good podcaster in that way. But right now it's between that and Mickey 17, which are very
Okay.
different. And so I really got to weigh that and think back on that. I think I need more than just a few days for 28 to sink in and see how I feel about that, because I really love both those movies. And I'll probably rewatch Mickey maybe in like January next year before Golden Geek. So and maybe even 28. I'll rewatch that at some point too. So that's my 1 and 2. But yeah, I don't have an order at this moment. It's a cop out answer, but that's how I'm feeling.
No, that's a good 1 or 2. So, what about you, Mr. Field? Where is that ranking for you right now between the two? 20 Days Later and Sinners.
Yeah, when I left the theater for 28 years, I was torn because Sinners is freaking fantastic, and I've been on the rocky road to Dublin all fucking month listening to that jam. You know, the soundtrack is absolutely the bee's knees, and I'm there. I'm so there right now. But I need to rewatch the movie. It's out on VOD. I'm gonna wait for it to hopefully drop on streaming soon, because I feel like I need to give it one more watch. The YouTube clips are just not doing it justice. I need to sit down and watch that start to finish. Yeah,
Like
because that's
YouTube clips.
the YouTube clips. Yeah, usually just one Rocky Road to Dublin clip, notably, but I just need to rewatch the whole movie.
Anytime that sound hits, there's like,
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Oh, it's good. I think I've been pissing Madison off because I put the song, I played in the car. We're all driving, Steen's in the back, and I'm like, we're off to reap the corn, ghosts and goblins, just fucking going hard at it.
it's like, do you have the rent yet?
Look at me! Oh no! Jesus Christ!
I'm picturing in the car, you listen to that song. When you're at home, you just have like the alpha clips on YouTube, just on the TV, just all day long, just alternating between these two things.
Oh
man.
Jeez Louise. Kirkland?
Yeah, 28 years later, I think I have above Sinners.
Whoa.
Pretty adamantly. I haven't rewatched Sinners, but I had some minor grapes and grimes with some things that happened in the film. So yeah, we'll see how I like it on a rewatch. But yeah, I know 28 years later was just a lot more of a something of a je ne sais
Less
quoi. I
grapes.
don't know. There's some. It was like some ice grapes. You know, it was like something a little bit more special. Yeah,
Ice cream?
Ice grapes.
yeah. You ever had ice grapes?
You get
No?
those in Rosefield or wherever that fake city you went to recently?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I've never been to
Ice
Rosefield,
grapes.
actually.
Ice
Rosewood?
grapes
What was
is-
that name of that city that just is not real? But
I think
you,
Rosewood's from like
When he's late for a
GTA.
yeah, you get some
Cast.
ice grapes from Rose, whatever the fuck.
Baron
What are you
Shea
talking
number
about?
82 somewhere. Oh, I'm just an Orange County.
Talking about Cherryville? It's been a while since I've been
Cherryville.
there. That was a whole
That is
other
so-
company
yeah.
ago, but yeah,
That's the one.
it's been a minute.
A lot of ice grapes there.
Yeah,
No,
for
you
me-
take grapes and you put them in the freezer. That's how you get ice grapes.
We're still in the grapes bit, Kit.
Okay, cool.
Or you pick them at 4 o'clock in the morning and then make ice wine out of ice grapes.
Yeah.
you do that?
fuck.
Little history for you. No, but a GV member used to a long time ago. That's a riddle for
Holy
the
hell.
day. I'll let you do on that one.
They are going out of their way to fuck me.
Just trying. Just
Say that again?
Hey,
talking
enough,
ice
enough.
grapes. Talking ice grapes.
Settle down, boys. Stand down.
Uh,
Stand down.
Yeah, right now it's ranked one because I think honestly, like I gave those movies both to 10, but I think some of those nitpicks Kirkland had, I wasn't as strong as Kirkland on them, but I still had similar issues or nitpicks with them. I just don't think they affected me as much as they did for him. And then for me, I think that 28 Days Later, especially the third act, that just hit me more on an emotional level. Don't get me wrong, Sinners has some good emotional stuff, but the third act, that's just a heavy third act. And I think the contrast between it being so heavy and emotional, but then, as I said in the review, just being raw and nasty was so good of how you go back and forth. It's like how Tarantino can go back and forth between like drama and comedy, just like that. He can just shift gear very easily. Sinners, I think, kind of I don't think they shift gears like that, but I don't think that's the point. I think that's a more longer, continuous journey on the similar tone. But at the same time, I could make the case that with Sinners, I think their ensembles better, like all their characters, multiple characters, I think have a bigger journey. I think that movie is longer too, but I just feel like are more fleshed out. So as of right now, it's 28, but that is the 1 and 2. I'm gonna wait because Crave has Sinners in like a week from now, and then when 28 years later comes on, I'll watch it because Emily's a fan of that series. So I'll be watching those soon, close. Maybe I'll try and do it like back to back. 'Cause I think it's gonna be one of those that I'll need to see them both again, because maybe those issues with Sinners are like completely gone for me, or maybe they uprise, or maybe there's stuff with 28 years later that I see and I go, oh, like even now, people have talked about the last 5 minutes and what that character is for 28 years later, like what it's kind of riffing on. I'm like, oh, that makes that movie even more fucked up. So now even hearing other things are like, Jesus, that's quite and that got me even more excited for number 2 of like, what are they going to do with this? So yeah, right now, 20 years later, and we'll see if that happens, because we got a lot of movies still coming up. So I hope someone at least challenges it. That'd be nice. But let's see. So thank you, Charlie. Clay, I'll go first on this one. Bartender here wondering what the GV crew's recent favorite beers / cocktails have been during the recent summer months. I'm straight edge, never have had a drop of liquor, so I got nothing going on other than my lime Rickies, which
Except
is
for
just
that
like
one
a
time we
nice-
slipped some in your.
I'll say knowingly, I've never had any alcohol. I did have one time when I picked up a bottle at a club, but I spat out right away because everyone was in shock. And I was like, "Don't do that!" And then I was like, so I've
The
tasted
rare
it,
ice grapes were used.
yeah, those cost $69, Travis. But yeah, no.
That blue
alcohol.
wine. How could you do that?
Fermented for years, my grandfather. What about you guys? What you drinking this summer?
Settle down, boys. Settle down. In terms of what I've been sipping on this summer, I recently got.
What the hell is this stuff?
Gasoline.
That's
pretty
what
much.
sipping on.
Pretty much gasoline. No, it
That was
it
too good. I'm sorry. That was too. We were talking about what we were drinking. Extra the setup. I had to. I'm done for the night.
I got I think it was Phillips Brewing was the brand. It was like a combo pack. There was pale ale in there, the Pilsner. I usually don't like the darker
You
beers,
scared
so
the
that
fuck
one
out
tastes.
of me. I thought you just said the pills. I'm like, oh man, we gotta have a conversation off air. Like, what are you enjoying this summer?
I thought you were done. I thought you were done. This guy.
No, I was done with
Meet
the clip.
this guy.
I was done with the clips. I thought you just said the pills, and I was like, oh no, Kirkland's new job is really doing a number on him.
My go-to cocktail to make myself would be a Caesar. I'm a big Caesar fan. I believe you guys don't have them down there. Cocktail Clay. I believe you call them Bloody Marys because you guys don't have Clamato juice, which is just a cardinal sin to me. But yeah, no, that's usually my go-to. So those have been my sips. A couple ice grapes, chase down, whatever. Gin cocktail, straight and narrow. I think I had at my parents' house. That was pretty yummy. So yeah, recommend that one.
Sick.
Water
How about you,
too
Taylor?
is a good secondary.
Water's good. Water's good. H2O. I am definitely all about the Caesars. I've already started some
Attaboy.
Caesars this season. They are so good. You get the little stick in there with the little bean, little sausage on there, and you got that
Rotisserie
rim of that
chicken.
Taylor,
celery
stop talking about your
salt.
love life and tell us what
Oh,
you're drinking this summer. Come
My
on now.
God,
Let's go.
just such a good drink. Such a good drink. Other than that, paralyzers. I haven't had one of those in a hot minute, but once it gets really hot, I'm definitely gonna get one of them because they're so freaking expensive. But God, they're so good.
What's so pricey about them? Just like to have some
Well,
garnish.
he hasn't
on
paid
there.
his rent yet, Kirkland.
No,
That's why they're so
yeah,
pricey.
that's why no garnish. Because literally, what I used to make them, I can't even remember. It's just
That's
it's
like a
milk
soft drink.
and
It's vodka, Kahlua
vodka,
milk, and Coke or Pepsi. Or
and
something.
Coke or
Interesting.
Pepsi. Yeah, and
That's a lot
I
going
have
on.
had them with root beer. I remember at Boston Pizza they made me one with
Nice.
root beer,
Yeah,
and it
I've
was
done that too.
really flavorful. But yeah, it's I feel
My
like
mom
usually
makes
it's like,
a just beautiful paralyzer.
Oh.
Good stuff.
I'm there
Should
then.
have hit her up
Let's
back
do
in
it.
the,
Yeah.
the
And my dad makes a
Tasting
killer Caesar. Yeah, you guys should come.
Oh,
over.
man.
Oh my God,
Party
we're
at
there.
Austin.
Let's do it.
Day.
Yeah.
Guy with must one more
all
time.
coming.
Backyard. Yeah.
And last but not least, black cider cherries. Holy fuck! One sip of that, and I'm my allergic reaction kicks in, but it's worth it. It's so good. It's so fucking good. God
Classic.
damn.
Takes me back to that one party we had at my house, but
yeah.
thankfully someone who was there
Think
showed up
about
with an
that all the time.
ambulance, so we just had the ambulance out in the middle of the cul-de-sac, helped Taylor out when he was.
Was there
getting
really
a
an
little
ambulance?
inflamed.
I don't remember there being an ambulance.
I thought it was an ambulance, right?
I just remember Kirkland
He was
just
just
giving me those
Benadryl.
Jaeger bombs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Taylor was red as the devil's dick. He was
Don't
red
get
as
fucked up,
Kirkland's
Taylor.
background.
Here,
He's
He
like
was
Kirkland's
as red
room.
as episode 666.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. You guys ever have Aperol Spritz? I feel like I discovered that like 2 years ago. Not that I'm the one who created or anything like that, but it's a banger. I don't even know what's in it. It's just magic. It's like a potion.
No,
Taylor, you've ever
I
had
haven't.
that?
No, I
Next
haven't.
time you're out, order Aperol Spritz. It's quite nice.
App or all spritz?
Aperol Spritz.
Okay.
Aperol.
Write it down before you go in
Go
there.
to the bar and answer. Can I have an app or all? Dude, what are the fuck you
fuck out
talking
of
about?
They would probably know what you're talking about. They're probably used to it.
That's true.
But yeah, I recently went on like a nice lengthy bike ride, which ended kind of near my house. There's this cocktail place called Nice Life, which is like the most generic name of all time.
I like it.
It's kind of like a lot of Mexican sort of themed things, and they had a few really good cocktails there. I'm on their website. Let me read a couple of these because I just love like just super pretentious like drink description. Do you guys ever like just read the stupid ass descriptions they have for like beers whenever you go to like brewery, and it's just so obnoxious.
Sometimes.
Let me give you this is the CC Rosa cocktail. Is a lush blend of guava, mango, and smooth tequila with a citrus lift, tropical, balanced, and refreshingly real. Like, refreshingly real.
Refreshingly
really?
real.
I would order
Really
that.
good,
Fuck yeah, they got me with that description.
Yeah.
Kirkland's an
How about
easy
how about this
sell.
one? The Don Poco cocktail bursts with juicy grapefruit, orange juice, lime juice, lemon juice, smooth tequila, and a kiss of salt.
Fuck
Bold,
yeah, order me that
refreshing,
too.
and rooted in Mexican tradition.
They're 2 for 2 for me right now. Keep going.
There you go.
There's
You gotta go
there's
tonight.
another one that had a funny. Oh, this one's so pretentious. This is the Welcome Margarita, a crisp, citrus-forward cocktail bursting with zesty lime, smooth tequila warmth, a touch of orange, and a briny whisper of sea salt. Refreshing, bright, and endlessly sippable. But these drinks, they were as good as they sound. I just love how
Okay.
pretentious those descriptions are. And they had like a backstory lore for each of them too. Is pretty crazy experience. So yeah, I definitely got to go back to that place a couple times this summer. It's a really nice place. It's like right on the river where there's some nice walking to do. So it's a great spot.
Nice. Did you make it home?
I
Yes,
did.
I
I was on
assumed
my
you
bike
biked
though,
there.
so I was
Yeah,
a wee
that's
bit
dangerous.
wobbly for sure.
Nice word for you. Yeah, Keep the helmet on. You know.
I did have the
Cla-
helmet on.
Clay did answer you quickly and said, "Not to worry, I only capitals make Bloody
He's
Marys
importing
with
his
Coke."
Oh
Clamato.
damn! I didn't even know they sold Clamato in America.
He's
so
probably got a
that's cool.
guy at the border.
Yeah,
Slides it
duty
through.
free
That makes me
shop,
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Clay also asked if you had to be a character in any Blumhouse horror movie, which also I'll say, I don't know, I think this kind of happened in I don't know when. Somehow the trend started of asking some just very random, weird questions. I'm digging it, patrons. So keep them coming the next 2 weeks. Like we said, the questions can be for the topics we have, but for anything else. So everybody that's been sending in some just different questions like this one, appreciated. If you had to be a character in any Blumhouse horror movie, which character would you be and why? Creative answers welcome. Night swim answers welcomed as well.
Night swim would be cool. I'd love to be a swimming pool. I feel like I missed the second part of this question. Can you guys chuck? What are some Blumhouse horror movies at me? Can you chuck some at me right here?
I can give you a bunch of them here because I pulled up the list just to confirm. This was tough because like all the leads are kind of, I'm not gonna say lame, but they're not like the best. And then I don't want to be a killer, but you got like obviously the newest Halloween ones. You got Black Klansman. You got the Purge movies, Insidious. You got Happy Death Day. You got Get Out. That's my answer. The dad from Get Out, the guy who said he would vote for Obama. That's mine. You say you got
That's your pick.
Split. No, I'm joking. You got
You had me there.
you got Sinister. You got The Gift. So you could be Gordo the weirdo if you wanted to be.
Ooh.
You could
Split.
be
I mean, I could be McAvoy.
Yeah.
That could be something.
Whiplash. You could be J.K. Simmons and just fucking gaslight and bully your students to make them hurt themselves.
Always wanted to do that.
Paranormal Activity, I think I said that. Baby Makers, Tooth Fairy. I don't think the Dwayne Johnson one, but a lot of random
In
stuff
Paranormal
out
Activity,
there.
is there ever like a thing on screen, or is it always just like furniture moving around and crazy stuff? I
There's
just haven't
things
seen
on
those
screen
movies.
in one of them.
Yeah.
I saw one
Is
of
it
them.
like
and
ghosts?
There's some things. There's
Demons.
human
Demons.
cult like activity.
Is it like a floating ghost type thing?
No, it's like
Yeah.
Those are
possession.
supposed to haunt people. Megan as well, if you want to be
Oh, I'll be Megan 2.0 for
Yeah.
sure. The super bot. Yeah, that'd
This
be a good
bitch
one.
is back or whatever it is.
The bitch is back.
Yeah.
Man, my YouTube algorithm, I just get spammed the Megan trailer. I don't think I'd seen that trailer before then, but man, I've seen it like 19
seen it now.
times in the last 3 days. So
You
Any
excited?
hype
Go
for the
see
movie?
it?
no,
Yeah.
I'm
Next week
not-
or it's this
no.
week, I think.
Never seen the first one.
Gear
Probably
up.
never will.
Taylor,
I'm
you
gonna
see
do the
it?
big never.
I can't even recall when its release date is.
I think it's this Friday or whatnot. As I
Is
just
it
said.
really?
Yeah, I
2.0,
know. I know you
baby?
keep missing out on movies you want to see, like Jurassic World. You know, you could have saw that the other night, but you can see Megan in lieu of it.
Down a paralyzer and go see Megan 2.0. I think that'd be.
The Rent, Taylor.
No, I'd be
Dude, that
obnoxious in the theater.
Just searching through the sofa looking for loonies and toonies. To
I'll go with someone else is going with me, maybe.
No, one Megan was enough. I will see this Megan happily when it comes to VOD. I don't need to go to the theater. And I think that theater experience could not be fun. Luckily they moved after enough of us looked at them, but we had some, let's say, chatty young people for 28 years later. We didn't talk about them in the review, but they got a couple eyes. Then they moved.
Oh, those girls.
Yeah, they didn't care about the movie. They were talking the whole time. Shot them one look, and then a couple other people did, and then about 5 minutes they went to the far left side theater where we couldn't hear them. So still lame, but granted, I couldn't hear you anymore. So cool, do what you want. But yeah, they didn't care about the movie. They were in and out. They're on their
Spending
phone.
their parents' money.
Yeah, the Rent.
Taylor's like, I could use that money.
Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me. Also, Clay says my Obi-Wan bartender who taught me everything was everything was a Canadian. There we go. So that's why I got a little
Nice. There
cheat
you
sheet
go.
there.
That's great.
I would pick the lead from, I'm a big fan of the series, from Happy Death Day. I didn't know her name was Tree Klebman, but I think the idea of living, obviously my hope is that it still ends up the same way, that you end up successful. But two things. One, the idea of reliving the same day over, scary, but I'd like to see what that would be like. And two, in both movies, she went through a personal journey that made her see something she didn't expect. So I would like that. Kind of hits on like About Time, if anyone's seen that. One of the instructions says it's about a character that can travel back in time, and one of the instructions his dad gives him is just go back, live one of your days like just a normal regular day the exact same way, and you're going to appreciate it a whole hell of a lot more. And he does, and even the things that are sucky, he like gets through them. So that's the approach I would take. So I would see, because like I said, most of them, the leads suck, or I don't want to be a bad person. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna be Michael Myers. No, or I don't want to be like Laurie Strode, who has like decades of PTSD. So I'm going with somebody that, like, you know, minor time travel. So
Nice.
Yeah, this is a tough one because there's a lot of bad situations that
Yes.
these movies throw the characters. I saw Kicking and Screaming was on there and it got me excited, but it's not the Kicking and Screaming that I know and love.
the Will
with
Ferrell coach one?
No, it's some very bizarre about becoming like an adult movie. So I haven't seen it. I won't pick it. In terms of like power set, my mind kind of went Invisible Man, but like I don't want to be just abusive ex-husband and like invisibility. It's kind of a pervy ability too, you know, like probably not the best one to take. So I think my safe answer here is gonna be Rod Williams from Get Out, if you remember that character. That is, that's Chris's
The
like
brother?
buddy. Yeah,
TSA?
yeah.
The girl's
He-
brother? No.
The TSA guy. Yeah.
Wanna wrestle?
He misses like all of the shit, and then he comes in at the end and saves the day. You know, saves him, and it's probably just the safest answer out of all these. Probably really boring, but yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about like Cabin in the Woods because there's just a lot of interesting stuff going on in there, but like I don't know what character to pick. I feel like all of our main cast just get very violently murdered.
The whole world dies in that movie,
Yeah,
so not worth it.
Apocalypse. Spoilers for a
Yeah,
movie.
that's
but-
right. So not in that adventure. Rod. Shouts out to Rod.
Taylor?
Well, you said it. I'm running with it for sure. I'm going Invisible Man. You know, this is.
Jesus
I want. I want powers, but I don't want to
No,
be.
you like that character. He did not say what powers.
In the movie.
The
Yeah.
specific question was, which character would you be? So you want to be the abusive boyfriend that makes
He's
an
got
invisible
money though,
suit?
Travis.
Yeah, I want that
You
money.
change.
And he died.
No,
He-
Well,
But
now
see,
Terry
I
can
can
sneak
fix
into the
him.
movies even if he doesn't have $20 to spend.
he
Which
can
which
get that
character which character would I be? So yeah, I can pick any character, and that character comes with the powers, but I can
No,
change.
that's not Clay's question.
That's exactly it. You pick that character. That character. If I pick to be the demon from Paranormal Activity, I get those demonic powers.
But you're
I
still that
wrong?
character. No, you're.
Yeah, I'm still that character. I'm
He's
still
like,
that
I would have
character.
killed
yeah.
her. I actually would have killed her.
I would have gotten
Too
away with
easy. Yeah.
it. But no, I just think invisible powers, rocking that suit. That would have been fucking cool. I don't know what I would have got up to, but I would have hopefully have been
Taking the
turned into a
pervy
leaf.
powers. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. That's the one that's only worse than like the one comparable is like telekinesis, you know, because I would always pick that because like, oh, easy, but everyone's like, oh, that's a fucked up power, but like yours is a little more fucked.
I
up.
like to think I'd be more like Skinner from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Way too much of a deep cut.
Okay.
Skinner. Is that like a Simpsons character?
What a good name too. I want to be Skinner,
Principal
the
Skinner.
Invisible Man. Yeah. Finally, to end off this cast here, Superbad Mike asks, with summer now in full swing, I had a fun season theme question for the crew. What movie would you most want to watch on a giant screen while chilling in a pool or on a beach on a hot and lazy summer evening?
This I like this question because it made me realize that like, you know, seasonal movies like, you know, Christmas, I'm always watching certain things, certain vibes, even if it's not like a specific Christmas movie, but just like I'm looking for a certain vibe. Same with like October, I want to put on some scary things. But like that is not the case for me in the summer. I don't, or even the spring or any other time of year. I think it's literally just those 2 times a year. I don't think I have any other like, it's June 14th, I better put on my favorite movie. Like I don't think I have a summer movie. Maybe I associate summer more with like being outside and not being inside watching a movie. And also like this scene that Mike has set up here of this outdoor like pool movies, like I've never experienced that in my life. So it's hard for me to like be like, oh, when I've been in a situation like that, what would it be a movie I'd want to watch? It just is like seems like a fantasy. But
In Langley, there's a park that does it, Dylan. Not too far. It's like a water park that they have movie nights where it's pool and you get like a tube and you can sit there. We wanted to do it one year, but
that sounds great. And then I just have to go to Langley, I guess. And
Yep.
then I have to do that. But no, I should do that this summer, and I'll hopefully then I can come back, Mike. I'll come back with the question or with the answer when I have that. But for now, I'll just pick the S Bubs movie here. I'll go a Teen Beach movie. I think that would
Oh,
the
that
perfect
actually would
way.
be a good one.
perfect
yeah.
way to enjoy a nice. And I feel like you want something like that. Something you can kind of have to pay attention to. Something you can doze off to. Something you can come back in. Something that's fun and light. So I'll go with that.
All right. I still have my. Oh, you do have your Patreon question. Sorry, S-Bubs. You're right. I forgot about that because it came a little early. We always have batch notes, so that's my bad. So S-Bubs still is a question we'll get to. Taylor, though, you gotta have a good movie here, right?
This is something
Invisible Man.
I've put thought into for quite some time actually. I've spoken to people that they used to do this back in the day when they were young, and I've always wanted to experience this, being on the water, floating on a pool noodle or something like that in the pool or on the lake, and just watching Jaws. I think that would just be so much fun because that was a big thing back in the day, and that would just be such a fun experience just to watch it. And I mean, if it was like a time of day, I'd probably prefer like evening when it's like still like
Just
super
pitch
warm
black,
out, but
just
like it's
dead.
just in the dark.
I guess you get a bright screen, but do you
Late
also want to watch a
afternoon.
movie when it's brightest out and you're like trying to see the screen? Like that
That's
also
the whole
sounds
setup.
awesome.
The whole setup is the summer. You're out on the pool, right? You're probably not doing that at nighttime.
I think I
Could
had
be.
time. Yeah, I picture it, but
Hot tub?
That's fine. Yeah, hot tub.
You're just pruning,
Hot tub time
watching a
machine.
movie. Hot tub time machine. That'd be. Well, I guess it's more of a winter festive movie at the ski.
What about the
resort.
second one? Is that one summary?
I think it's all at the ski resort, but no, I think
Oh.
I've only
Again?
seen the
They go
first one
back?
actually. I don't know. I've only seen the first one.
Retro.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many I feel like I could pull from just because like any movie would fit that scenario. Really, I could watch the fucking Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Yeah, just gonna watch
Kicking
Black
and
Swan.
screaming.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think
actually-
any movie.
Not
Are you
not
gonna
Black
watch Cloud
Swan
Atlas
actually.
out
Yeah,
there?
that's fair actually. There's many movies I wouldn't. Like pretty much any like family movie, like a Disney movie, that could be fun too. Any Studio Ghibli movie. Shows Howl's Moving Castle. That I'm just always down for that.
Ponyo?
That would be
That
a
would
great one with
be.
the water.
That's a great.
Yeah.
That's my new pick. Fuck
Yeah.
Teen Beach movie. I'm going Ponyo.
There you go. But yeah, no, I like the scene setup though, and it made me realize I haven't really watched a movie outdoors. In,
Kirkland, you got to
in
pick
a
one. You just named 12. Pick one. Pick one.
Passion of the Christ.
And you can't do Ponyo because I took that one from
Passion of the Christ.
Crash.
Kicking and screaming. We'll go kicking and screaming. We're
Sweet.
playing
One?
soccer outside in the summer.
Or the other
so-
one. The,
Yeah, the other one.
Not the
Blumhouse
Blumhouse one. Not the
Directed by
Blumhouse
Jonathan
one.
Nolan. yeah.
Kirkland's like, oh, it's kicking and screaming. Get it all settled in, and it's not the Will Ferrell one. If I had to pick one, I had two for this, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick Pirates of the Caribbean, Black Pearl, Get in that water. I want something like that where it's hot. So for me, it was that, which I thought might get picked. So if not, then it would be Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. I want that where it's the screen's looking hot, it's feeling warm, so you kind of just feel like you're in that area. Obviously, Pirates, you're on the water, so you can have that fun. Or if you're sitting on the beach, if you're sitting on the beach and not swimming, you're gonna get a little toasty. Where if you look at Harrison Ford in that movie, he's fucking toned as hell, but he's sweaty all the time. He's always wet, perspiration going on. So that's why I feel like I'd be there sweating with Harrison Ford as he goes to the Temple of Doom. So that's what I want. Some exploring movies, and I think those are good fun time movies that may have some horror elements, but I think Pirates is the prime pick there if you're on water. That's a good time, So
Nice. Good pick.
and then finally this time, Asbub stinks because he's currently leading in GM mode. He has his power, but don't worry, just give it a few weeks. He's gonna choke again. It's okay. For episode 666, I want to know what's the angriest you've ever been at a movie. Either for it being bad, waste your time, or something dumb happening in the movie, or something else. If you guys don't have one, I have a clear answer. If you need me to kill time,
I've got the one that immediately came to mind. Well, actually, I did have to think about this a little bit because I'm not a super angry person, I think, generally speaking. But speaking of the water, Avatar: The Way of Water came to mind because fuck that movie, and I'm over it now. But I just like seeing people loving the movie afterwards too is like, come on, we're really giving this movie a pass. This movie sucks.
you just don't understand 3D, Dylan. We've gone over this.
It's true, yeah. I'm not as smart as James Cameron, of course.
Yeah.
But then the other one that I think when I thought about it more is, and there probably is a few that I'm just completely blocked out of my mind, but I was thinking like, what are some like legacy sequel type things? Because those are like, okay, now we're dealing with my nostalgia and now we're changing it. So like, I thought of Anchorman, but I think I was more just disappointed with that one. But I think my anger was actually targeted at Incredibles 2. That movie really fucking let me down, and I was so mad at how bad it was and how it just did not fulfill anything I wanted from a sequel all these years later. And man, I've not rewatched that ever, and I maybe should at some point to see if I actually still hate it or if I just like was really salty at the time. Now I know like and set my expectations in a different place. But I definitely remember being like pissed at the existence of that movie, kind of tarnishing one of my all-time favorites. So that's probably my answer.
Yeah, you can go back to the reviews on the feed. It's a very depressing review with me and Dylan because me and Dylan had similar aspect. Dylan was more hurt than me, but still, it was not.
I was even fighting for worst movie of the year back when we did that at Golden Geeks.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
Kirkland.
Yeah, two situations come to mind. One for the movie and one for the actual whole experience, which I think would be my actual answer. But my little honorable mention would be Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I just hated that movie so much. And I'd seen, it was in the Extreme Theater, which I've been to many times. But for whatever reason, it seemed like they just had the volume cranked. And I feel like it was just in my head because I just hated it so much. But like all the carnage screams, it was just making me angry. But no, the actual answer would have been, I think it was episode 7 Star Wars release, not the first viewing. I think it was like the second or third viewing. I went with a friend that hadn't seen it yet and bought tickets a little bit later. So we actually were in like the front section. There's like different tiers, like where you actually walk downstairs to watch a movie. That's always a bad sign when you're starting your adventure that way. And, yeah, it was like completely packed. I was like kind of in one of these seats where you're looking not only up but like directional also. So like for a 3-hour movie, like your neck's kind of in a compromising position. And there was a couple next to me and my friend, and like both of them were like very clearly intoxicated and like just like talking the whole time. Like you could smell the booze on them. And like they would like giggle, and it'd be like, yeah, and it'd be like not even like a joke, and they just like would like laugh and like repeat, and it wasn't like someone like right next to me where I could just be like, shut the fuck up. Like it was like a little bit away, but they were like so obnoxious that like, I don't know, I just maybe I wasn't confrontational, maybe like I am now in my old age, but yeah, it was a bad time, and that's like a long movie too. And I felt bad because my friend hadn't seen the movie yet, so that was like their first experience with episode 7, and that was like my third viewing. So I'm like, oh man, the movie's so fucking good. You're gonna have such a good time with it. And then that's the case, which is
you're drunk and laughing at everything.
It was me, yeah. I had too many Aperol spritzes. I was just sloshed.
They gave me the Aperol spritz. That's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one,
That's a
Taylor.
good one.
I just misremember the whole situation. It's just
They don't talk to you anymore. I'm curious what yours is, Taylor, because there's like, unless it's a movie, I feel like there's 2 theater experiences I know for you, but I don't know what you're going. So
I honestly had to hone it down to one theater experience that I could remember because this is a very difficult question, and I feel like you guys would probably know better than I would. But my theater experience that I honed in on was Lego Movie 2 with that kid that was just letting him rip, and this just lives rent free in my head, and the mom just ignoring me the whole time while I was sitting right there.
What's she supposed to do to the
she
5-year-old
just sloshed.
kid? Stop
She
fighting.
smelled like
I got an Aperol.
That kid just no filter. He was just like his pants were drenched for sure. It was not great.
I don't like hearing that. Which is so funny because there must have been a fan or something. Because I was beside Taylor on the other side, but I didn't smell a single.
Oh no! Like
of it
you
at
wouldn't.
all.
I was like this, and I turned and stared at the mom. Like
You're like a
something's
filter
wrong.
for Travis. Your shirt was just absorbing all the fart smells.
Maybe it was the mom.
Oh, I mean, it could have been.
Yo, Jimmy. Shh. I thought you were gonna say that, or that one time. Remember we saw Saw, and there was a former employee there.
That fucking guy.
Oh,
just.
And he was on his phone
Just
the whole time.
Was he
fucking
giving a blowjob or
blasting
what was
me.
going
No,
on?
he was just he was making noises, and he was on his phone. He got
He
up
was
and down,
smoking.
walked up and down the aisle, left his seat probably like 8 times during the movie.
Remind me after the cast what that guy's name was. 'Cause I remember that. That was something else. Yeah.
Yeah, it was to the point. It's one of those of like, why are you even here? Like you've left this movie so many times to go have a cigarette. Like, what's going on? So,
But like
mid-movie smoke. That's a
multiples. Yes.
he was easily like 3 times my size, and I'm not looking to pick a fight. I just want to watch this movie, and I mean he could have just carried me out, put me in his pocket if he wanted. So
Yes, he was a big guy.
like a
so-
cigarette.
oh, yeah.
My
Better than an Aperol Spritz
spritzer.
pairing with a nice cigarette. Yeah.
My Taylor cigarette. Oh, that shit's good. Yeah, no, nothing. Like talked about the gimmick a couple weeks ago, my theater experience, but like getting in a fight. But that was not anger. That was just like that just happened. That people like just like shut down. I talk about like Nocturnal Animals shut down. So like it's just like a classic. You can go back. Lots of people listen to that review, and it's just the movie in general. The movie in general, like I've talked about many times. I haven't talked about in a long time, luckily. But Jared Leto's Joker is just. it's just fucking nightmare fuel for me. That whole build up to Suicide Squad, and that getting that first look of the damage on the forehead, and just being like, well, he's an Oscar winner, so I hope, like, I don't like the look, but the performance likely will be good. And then the performance was shit too, and it's just like that whole era. And that was a very fun review we did 2015. It was us four with Kyle for Suicide Squad, and it was a really good time. That was like a 3-hour review, but it was in Dylan's basement. We just had a laugh fest. It was a good time, but I remember in the moment watching the movie just feeling awful about it. And now not as bad, because we've got a couple of Jokers since then. I think way more riled up in the younger years when we started the podcast. Now I don't think I'd care. I was like, okay, shit version of Joker, there'll be another one. But I think the other thing back then was because that was pitched as like, well, this is the MCU for DC, like this is gonna be the Joker going forward. So I think that was always the problem of like, if it was just, hey, this is a one-off of the Joker, oh, cool, do whatever. But when it was, oh, this is the next Joker, like the Tom Hiddleston Joker you're going to have for the next 10, 15 years, I was like, oh, yikes, But even them knew they made a mistake. When Jared Leto came back for the Snyder Cut, they took off all those fucking tattoos off him, the grill. Like, even the director said, yeah, we went too far. Like, everyone, like, I get what they were trying to go for now in retrospect, just be a little bit different, but I think it was a big misstep. And as a fan of like Batman and Joker, my two favorite characters, that was a rough watch going through that. So check out that review if you haven't. It's I'm fired up in that review. So there you go.
Nice.
Now I'm
Good
too
one.
tired to get fired up. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Later on in the week, like I said, Weekly Geek, Dylan and Taylor, lots of good stuff. Other casts, and we promise we'll hear from us next. It'll not be boring.